So, over the last 48 hours, there's been renewed optimism in the UK and EU over reaching a deal. Officials on both sides have begun to signal that they could be getting close to an agreement, with Varadkar, President of Ireland, expressing cautious optimism, telling reporters in Ireland that initial indicators are that we're making progress and that the negotiations are moving in the right direction. This afternoon, the EU will announce if they've been able to come to an agreement, and we will of course report on that as soon as possible, so be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss it. However, even if the two sides do manage to reach a deal, it's still not all plain sailing for Johnson. That's because before the deal can be finalised, it first has to be approved by Parliament. You'll remember that this is exactly where May's deal hit the rocks, with her proposals being rejected 3 times in Parliament. So, the question on many people's lips is, can Johnson get Parliament to approve the deal even if he gets one hammered out with the EU? Well, one man who seems very optimistic is Jacob Rees-Mogg, leader of the House of Commons. Speaking on LBC, Mogg seemed very confident that Johnson would be able to get a deal through, even despite the fact that Johnson still doesn't have a deal. He said, if a deal is agreed with the European Union, it will get through, in my view, the House of Commons, because everybody's desperate to finish this. So, let's look at the maths that Mogg is using to work this out. There will likely be 639 votes cast on this matter, slightly fewer than the total number of MPs, as Sinn Féin MPs, the Speaker and their deputies don't vote. The vast majority of Labour MPs are expected to vote against Johnson's plan, with a few Labour Brexiteers leaning towards Johnson's plan. All SNP MPs are likely to vote against Johnson's deal, as are Lib Dem MPs and Plaid MPs. These 3 parties are far more Remain-leaning, and it's very unlikely the deal he produces will fit with their objectives. The vast majority of Conservative MPs will likely follow Johnson. However, several ERG MPs could vote against the plan if it's not a hard enough form of Brexit for them. Mogg's maths likely assumes that all DUP MPs will vote in favour of the deal, but that's not totally guaranteed. Arlene Foster, the DUP's leader, continues to stick to her red lines, saying that we must remain within the UK's custom union. It is a principle we have and will forever be there. Johnson could scoop up the support of DUP MPs, but his deal must meet their strict terms. Then, there's also a whole bunch of independent MPs, many of whom were Conservative MPs, that is until Johnson kicked them out of the party earlier this year when they voted against him. So, with all these votes pulled together, you can see why Mogg has some faith in Johnson's ability to get Parliament on side, even despite the incredibly small margin. This is all far from guaranteed though. As we mentioned, the DUP support isn't guaranteed, nor is the support of all Conservative MPs. Ultimately, May's deal failed to pass because she couldn't get all of her party to sign off. Despite this, Mogg continues to be confident, saying that big changes had been made since May's attempts to reach a deal. We've been doing this for 3.5 years, it can't go on forever. We are near a conclusion and Parliament, once it's agreed something, can legislate very quickly. So, if the meaningful votes go through, then the legislation will merely be the ratification in domestic law of the treaty, and that, I think, is a relatively easy bill to pass if there is a deal. Until we know what the deal contains, if Johnson is even able to get a deal, it's hard to predict how MPs will react. We will keep you updated on whether Johnson can reach a deal, as well as what Parliament thinks, so be sure to subscribe to the channel.
You can also hit the bell icon if you want to be notified every time we release a video. And if you want more from us, you can find TLDR across all social networks simply by searching for TLDR News. And if you want your name featured at the end of the videos, just like these people, then you can sign up to back us on Patreon. There's a link to that in the description.